Hi, this is Bob Greenberg, and I'd like to tell you about a program that took place in San Francisco on April 7th. Sponsored by San Francisco Performances, the program consisted of myself as host and lecturer, an all-star group of singers and musicians, and featured the extraordinary young tenor Nicholas Phan. That's P-H-A-N, of whom we should all be fans. That's F-A-N. It was an afternoon of music, of poetry, and historical context drawn from the bellest of Belle Époques, France in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The music heard was primarily vocal music by Claude Debussy and Gabriel Fauré. The poetry set to the music on the program was that of the magnificently disreputable Paul Verlaine, 1844 to 1896, whose life reads like a disaster novel from hell. The context was the development of a uniquely French musical language in the years following the Franco-Prussian War. That was a nasty but thankfully brief conflict that took place in 1870 and 1871. A French musical language based on that wonderful amalgam of vowel, diphthong, nuance, and the subtlest of articulations that is the French language itself. And while I know you'd probably be more interested in hearing about the violent, psychosexual, drug and alcohol-fueled demi-monde in which the poet Paul Verlaine wrote his poetry and lived his disreputable life, nevertheless, it's the context thing that will be the focus of the remainder of this vlog. My friends, the French didn't just lose their war against Prussia in 1870 and 1871. They were whooped, humbled, disgraced, and humiliated to the very core of their Gallic cockles. An immediate upshot of this humiliating defeat was the founding in Paris in 1871 of the National Society of Music by a group of composers that included Camille Saint-Saëns, Emmanuel Chabrier, and Gabriel Fauré. The avowed mission of this society was to bring an end to the pervasive influence of German music on French music. In order to achieve this, the National Society vowed to cultivate a distinctly French musical art. Their inspiration, like that of contemporary French visual artists, poets, and writers, was the blended vowels, the color, and the characteristic nuance of the French language itself. This French language-inspired musical renaissance was brought to its culmination by the German-despising, Parisian-born and bred, in all ways fascinating and also rather disreputable Claude Debussy, whose revolutionary French music created virtually a new musical syntax. At the core, at the heart of Debussy's music is a French language-like rhythmic fluidity. Debussy himself described his rhythmic intent this way, quote, "The music I desire must be supple enough to adapt itself to the lyrical effusions of the soul and the fantasy of dreams," unquote. Really, has there ever been a native German-speaking composer who has described his or her music as reflecting the lyrical effusions of the soul and the fantasy of dreams? We think not. Vive le Debussy and vive la France. Thank you.